All right, peace and blessings, and welcome to another episode of the Author Spotlight, which is affiliated with the Self-Publishing 30 Days podcast. I am your host, Rob YB Youngblood, and I serve as the president of sales for Self-Publishing 30 Days, the #1 self-publishing company in the world. And our focus is to increase the visibility, credibility, and profitability of authors all around the world. The Author Spotlight allows us to spotlight authors who are making a move. And today I've got an opportunity to interview Corey D. Jones, who's not only an author, but he's an entrepreneur, an educator, and an empowerment speaker. Welcome to the Author Spotlight, Corey. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Rob. It's a blessing and an honor to be here to share this with you. Thank you for having me on. Definitely.
Well, listen, man, I'm excited, man, for a couple reasons. And for those of you who are not catching this on the video and you're listening in, Corey's rocking a nice black New York fitted. You know, say he must have known I was from NYC, from the Bronx. So, right up the hill from Yankee Stadium. So he's starting out on my good graces already.
That'll work,
The only thing that would mess this up is if he told me what his football team was. I know I know you're out of Texas. So yeah. Please tell me that you're not repping the people that call themselves America's team. Please tell me that.
Man, I do not fool with Dallas, man. I'm sorry, I don't rock with Dallas, man. They have to be the worst team in the NFL to me. I know they're not. I'm a Lions fan, you know what I mean? But I can't roll with Dallas, man.
Well, the second reason why I'm excited about Corey being here is because right behind him, and he mentioned that he's a Lions fan. He actually has a picture of a lion right behind him, man. So there's only 3 people that I know that are diehard Lions fans. That's CJ Quinney, Eric Thomas, and Corey D. Jones. So it's all good, man. It's all good. What got you interested in being a Lions fan? Let's start there, man. I'm gonna get to know you in a minute, but what got you interested in being a Lions fan?
First and foremost, man, I'm actually from Michigan. I'm born in Pontiac, Michigan, and it's just my family love the Lions. My wife, cousin is Barry Sanders, and so I just always been a Lions fan. You know what I mean? I got to watch them practice, went to a lot of practice, got to meet a lot of the players, went to their facilities, went to a couple of NFL players' homes. So I just fell in love with the fans, man. I just love the personality they have. I love the fight that they put up, even though they lose time after time after time. They got fight, man. They got grit. They got resilience. So I just always fell in love with them, man, and been a fan ever since I was a little boy. So I'm still rocking with them, unfortunately, but hey, it's my team.
Hey, I don't know any loyal fans than Lions fans, bro. If you're a Lions fan, man, you just in it for the long hauls, because like the moment you decide to leave, that's when they win the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like playing the stock. It's like playing the stock with the Lions, man. You got to hold, man, even though you want to just. But yeah, that's my team.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Yeah, I only say that, man, because I listen to the Secret to Success podcast with ET, man. And they always talk about the Lions, man. And CJ is one of those guys, man. He get on them, man. He get on them, man. Yeah. But listen, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Corey. So you say you're originally from Pontiac, Michigan, and what's funny is when I meet people from Michigan, they always talk about they show me the hand. So they're like they point to the hand. Which part of the mitten? Like the mitten, right? So but tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Outside of your where you're from, let us know about your background.
Yeah, so I'm originally born, Pontiac, Michigan, to 2 teenage parents. Father was absent, when I was born, and I felt like death seemed more promising to me than success ever had because of the circumstances that I was born in. Most young boys don't make it out to see past 18 in Pontiac. It's a very dangerous city to live in. It was once thriving with General Motors and things of that nature, but that all fell by the wayside. I just grew up in a very, I would say, trauma-filled, abusive home. Men in and out of my life. I'm just trying to figure out who I was as a person. I've seen drugs, violence, all these things. I come from a very traumatic and toxic background. Great family dynamic. It was just very toxic. And, my life I was trying to put the pieces together. I'm just trying to figure out where I fit in, like, what my purpose was here. And for a long time, I didn't know, given the fact that I dealt with a lot of trauma. So I was working through trauma my entire life. And I became a teenage father at the age of 16 years old. My mom moved here to Texas, with her husband, and he was abusive to my mom. And my mom decided to move back to Michigan, and I stayed here because I had a daughter I had to raise. And it was a very tough time in my life because I stayed in an empty apartment. I didn't have no food. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't have no furniture. You know, I stayed in an empty apartment. The only lights I had was the lights that lit up the apartment complex. But at 16, 17 years old, I knew I wanted to take care of my daughter. And, you know, I finally found somewhere to live. I moved in with my girlfriend's people at the time. And, you know, I went to, you know, high school and did very well, got a D1 scholarship to play ball at Texas Christian University. I turned that down because I had my daughter. They wouldn't accept her, but they will accept me. And I said, well, if you don't have room for my family, you don't have room for me. So I turned that down, went to a D3 school, private school, you know, did well there. And, man, you know, just took off from there, really, man. Just, you know, started to figure out who I was, worked through a lot of this trauma that I had. And I said, my life is valuable. I'm a valuable person. I just got to find who I am. I got to go in. And, you know, and I started going in and I said, I'm going to become a professional speaker, start writing books, just getting into that entrepreneurial mindset. And the rest is history, man. Got to work with Les Brown. I've been speaking all over the place. I'm on multiple platforms, you know, Motiversity, Fearless Motivation, Pep Talk. You know, just life just took a turn for me, man. So I'm blessed to be where I'm at today, given my background, where I come from.
Well, I'm so glad that you were able to overcome adversity, man, because they told us that same thing in the Bronx, New York. They said, you know, it's going to be difficult for you to make it out at 18 and, you know, similar story in terms of being able to get out, man. So kudos to you for, you know, pressing past adversity. I was talking to my team this morning and I was sharing with them that on the other side of adversity is opportunity. And we've just got to be able to push past the adversity to get to the opportunity. So kudos to you. So you made it through that challenge. You finished school, and then you know, did you immediately go into the educational system, or what was next for you after you left school?
Yeah, so a lot of my background is in social work. You know, I just have a heart for helping people, man. I want to help people become their best self, you know, and I feel like, you know, God put me here on this earth to be able to do just that, help people, you know, go within, really deal with those traumas, deal with the things that they suppressed for all these years. So I did social work for about 18 years of my life, you know, and then I got into education, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, got into education. And education, you know, allowed me to impact the kids, you know what I mean, and touch the youth in a way that, you know, most people can't do. You know, I was able to, you know, speak to them on their level, build them up. You know, they come from broken families, you know, broken backgrounds, just cultural differences and all these things. So I was able to just interact with these kids, and I fell in love doing that. And I said, you know what, education is a good niche for me. But then I started to back out of education because I said, I can't build someone else's empire, you know, and while I'm sitting here and let my dreams die.
Right.
And I said, there's not enough. You can't pay me a salary for me to forfeit my dreams. You know what I mean? And so I said, education is cool. I've done what I can do in the education realm. Now it's time for me to be selfish and focus on me. You know, I put a lot of my life on hold because I was a teen parent. And now I'm going to get everything that's mine to get.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that spirit. And so as a result of that mindset, is that when you became an entrepreneur?
Yeah, you know, I always had it in me to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like, even when I was 18 years old, I said something. I said, if LeBron James could make this money at 18, I can do the same thing. Right. And for a long time, I struggled working in corporate places. You know, I had some very prestigious jobs, but I always struggled working those places because I'm like, this cannot be it. Like, when I leave here, I don't get to take this company with me. I can't pass this down to my kids. You know, this doesn't belong to me. And so I struggled working jobs, man, for a long time. And I said, it's not meant for me to do that. I'm really my own boss. And so I broke into entrepreneurship, not because I just wanted a flexible schedule or work less hours, because if anybody told you work less hours being an entrepreneur, they lied to you.
They lied to you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, working all these hours, I said, man, but I'm built for this. I'm built to build my own empire. I'm built to help set my kids up and leave a legacy for them. So that's when I broke into entrepreneurship, man. I really got serious about entrepreneurship about, I want to say about 2 years ago, when I really broke into, you know, professional speaking. And that changed my life. And from there, I just started building, and things have been paying off.
So let's set the stage for your book. So did you become a speaker first and then put out your book, or did you put out your book and then as a result of your book you became a speaker? What came first?
To be honest, man, I believe I put out my book first. I've been speaking since I was, I want to say 17 years old. right? I was doing public speaking since I was 17 years old, but I didn't take it serious. And so I wrote a book prior to me becoming a professional speaker. I wrote my first book. It was, where is it? It's called Surviving a Christian Marriage, A Quick Guide to Marital Bliss. A lot of people don't know that I used to pastor as well. I was a pastor for years. And that's when I wrote this book, when I was pastoring. And so that was my first book. And then I became a speaker after that.
Right. I love it. I love it. And obviously by default, when you preach, you end up speaking anyway. So
Yeah.
so tell us, so you had that first book, and then you came out with another book as well?
Yeah, I came out with another book. So I came out with I believe it's the Following with Intent, Lead with Purpose. This is my latest book that I wrote. And I wrote this book because, I struggled to always land leadership positions, even though I was qualified for them. And I was always told, man, you are a leader. You have the qualifications of a leader. But they would never put me in leadership. They always found some type of little caveat to say, well, we need you to do this better. Or, well, we need you to do that better. But they always use me to lead. They always use me to be the face of something, but they would never give me the title of leadership. And so I learned a lot in that. And I said, you know what? I've been used all this time to help build, the empire, become the face of these organizations. And they're like, this is a great leader, but they never paid me the leader, pay.
Yeah.
And so I wrote this book because I want people to understand, like, there are loopholes. There's things you have to learn before you can become an effective leader. And so I gave people a little bit of insight on what to do in this book and how to become that leader. Because now, I lead myself and I lead a lot of other people. So I feel like I can speak to that.
So what was your process of becoming an author? I mean, was it something that was just easy for you, or did you have to overcome some adversity? Talk about your experience in becoming an author.
I believe everyone has a story on the inside of them. You know what I mean? I just feel like the way you present that story, the way you go in and you format that story, that's the hard part. I never wanted to become an author. I don't like writing. You know what I mean? I write content for speaking, but when it comes to writing a book, it's a different ball game. So for me, I was just sitting down when I wrote my first book, and I said, man, there's so much I want to get out, and I don't know if I can do it speaking. So let me write a book. And so I started writing my book, and I'm gonna tell you, it was one of the toughest things that I've ever done, was written a book. I struggled with writer's block. I was like, what's next? How do you do this? Where do you go? How do you put this on paper? So I just started writing stuff. No formatting, no punctuality, none of that. And I got with somebody that's a close friend of mine. I went through his writing seminar, his book writing seminar, and he gave me some tools and some tips on how to become an author. And so I took that seminar and I did it, and I put my first book out, but it was very, very tough. It's not something that I loved doing. There was times I wanted to give up.
Yeah. So why didn't you? Like why? So you said there was days that you felt like giving up. Why didn't you give up? Why didn't you just say, hey man, forget this, man. I don't need to do this. It's not worth my time. Like what prompted you not to give up?
What kept me going was the statistics of marriages falling apart. You know what I mean? I said, if I quit now, then I'm contributing to the problem. You know what I mean? So I got to push past how I feel. And I got to get this message out to the people that really need this content.
Yeah.
I wasn't struggling in my marriage when I wrote this book. My marriage was thriving. But I've seen so many people struggling in their relationships and in their marriage. I said, if I stop because of my selfishness, then I'm contributing to society and the number where people are divorcing. So that kept me going. And I had to pray a lot too. That kept me going. Like, give me the strength to get through this, because this was not an easy task. And I felt like I owed people this information. Like, if I had it and I died with it, I did them a disservice. So I said, let me get this out by any means necessary, because I know it's going to change the lives of people. So that's what kept me going. It wasn't even because, I just wanted to do it. I knew somebody needed it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So you have these two books. Let's talk about after. So you're done with the books. Books are done. Let's talk about impact. I came into 2020, 21, and I said my desire is impact over income. I love when people talk about the impact. Let's talk about the impact. Like, how was your books received? What feedback did you get? What kind of impact are your books making in the marketplace?
Yeah, to be quite honest, man, when I wrote these books, Rob, I got your close knit people, they work with you, they grab your book for support and things like that. And the people that grabbed it, they was like, man, I really love the content. Thank you for doing that. But when I wrote these books and I put them out, I wasn't looking for a big return or anything like that. You know what I mean? To be honest, I wrote these books and I put them out in the atmosphere and I forgot about them. I don't even talk about my books. I don't even promote my books. I just know that this was something I needed to do for myself.
Yeah.
Now, whether people pick up the content and read it and it impacts their lives, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I knew it was something that I need to get done because this was sitting on the inside of me. And I said, I cannot let this die within me.
Yeah.
So I put it out. But I never thought twice about promoting my books, anything. I just wrote them and put them out there.
You know, there is a such thing as a legacy project or legacy projects, you know what I'm saying? And so while we promote, you know, the B Squared book to business, there are people who just want to put books out, man. You know what I'm saying? It's legacy project. So kudos to you on that. So now that you've accomplished the journey of becoming an author, because not everybody does it, right? I was reading a statistic that said 2% of the world's population are authors. So you're in that elite group. Now that you're there, where do you see yourself going from here? Like what does the future hold for you, Corey?
As far as being an author or just in general?
In general, I mean, you know, obviously we're here to talk about you being an author, but you know, I like to see the whole person. You know what I mean? What I mean, it can include your journey as an author, but just in general, like what do you see the future hold for you?
You know, I was talking to Les Brown. He said I need to write an autobiography over my life. He said because a lot of people hear your voice, they know that you're a speaker, but they know nothing about you. You know what I mean? He said they don't know your story. He said you have a very powerful story, and you need to get this book out. So if anything, I'm gonna go that route.
Yeah.
But overall, big picture, you know, just continue to stay a serious entrepreneur, get into a lot of real estate, and just begin to build businesses, man, and you know, 10x those businesses so I can leave something for my family. That's really where my focus is at, and just dominating the speaking industry, you know, the best I know how. You know, I know we got E.T., Les Brown, Tony Robbins, all these individuals out there, but you know, I feel like there's a purpose for me in this arena, in this stage. And so that's where my mind is at right now.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're about to land the plane. And so typically I like to ask a little curveball question, you know, of my guests. And, you know, obviously you talked about the desire to put out the autobiography down the line. But let's say, for example, you decide to do that and we were going to pay for it. Let's say I was going to cut the check and send you anywhere in the world to write your autobiography. Where would you go? Anywhere in the world.
Man, that's a great question. I think I would like to go somewhere that's beautiful, that's calming, that can, you know, help me get to my Zen place. You know, and I don't know why it's coming to my head, but Bali, man. Bali is somewhere that I would love to go and write this book. I think that would be the perfect setting for me to just really become one with myself.
Yeah.
You know, just be deep in the jungle in a sense, and just block everything out and just begin to write, because my story is so deep. There's so many components to it. I got to make sure I lay this out the right way.
Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, nobody said Bali yet. Well, maybe one person I think say Bali, but yeah, but that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong. And I like to ask that question because, you know, I like to travel. My wife likes to travel. Nice. And you know, you get to know a lot about a person when you ask them where would they go if somebody else is paying for it, right? You know, sometimes when you think about paying for it, you're like, I don't know, but somebody else paying for it, okay, let me take that trip. So let's wrap up with how can people find you and you know, then wrap up with some last words. You know, how can people find you, Corey, if they want to get your books, they want to support you, they want to bring you in to speak? How can people support your movement?
You can definitely go to my website at www.coreydjones.com. You can find me on YouTube. All my speaking things on there is at Corey D. Jones. On YouTube, you can hit me up on Facebook. Everything is Corey D. Jones across the board. All my social media platforms, so you can find me on there. But if you really want to, you know, connect with me and you know, make some things happen, go to my website, www.coreydjones.com. You can book me there. You can find my merchandise there. We can connect and build from there.
And what would you say is some last parting words? Like, you know, what's on your heart, man, based on, you know, some of the things we discussed, or just in general, man, what's on your heart? What do you want to leave our viewers and listeners with as we wrap up this interview?
What I would say is, don't allow the graveyard to rob you of your gifts and talents, right? The graveyard is one of the richest places in the world because that's where so many people's dreams died. Unwritten books, you know, plays, speaking against all these things, right? They die, and the graveyard is rich. So don't be that person that allowed that graveyard to rob you. If it's on the inside of you, go ahead and get it done. Don't say you got into tomorrow, because you may not have to tomorrow. You gotta live every day like it's your last. I know that's a cliche, but you really have to, because you don't know what tomorrow holds. So if it's in you and you feel like it's tugging at you, get it done now, because the universe loves speed.
Love it, love it, love it. You've been listening to Corey D. Jones, and he shared his heart. Definitely, you might have to replay this again. He dropped some serious gems, serious nuggets. He's speaking from the heart. Show this man some support, some love. Go visit his website and let him know that you heard about him here on the Author Spotlight Self-Publishing 30 Days podcast. I am your host, Rob YB Youngblood, president of sales for Self-Publishing 30 Days, where we focus on empowering, aspiring authors who will turn their book into a business, and we call them authorpreneurs. And we want them to know that this is the year for your new book. Be encouraged, be blessed, but most of all, continue to share the faith. And you do that by operating your gift, because your gift will make room for you. We'll see you next time. Peace.